Hey guys, it's Dr. Price. Welcome to today's blog post. It's our last blog post of the week. I was watching TV a couple days ago and I saw an advertisement for a law firm that was doing one of those, if you've ever been injured by, then you may have a case things. And I kind of blew it off a little bit because I think that, our society is very highly litigious. So I don't really listen too much to those things. But this one specifically was talking about a drug called Fosomax, which is a drug that's given to patients who have osteoporosis. And the commercial was for a lawyer saying that they've started finding studies with high correlations to patients that have spontaneous femur fractures. Now the femur is the bone, it's your thigh bone, and it's the biggest and strongest bone in the body. It's very, very difficult to break the femur. At the head of the femur, which if you have this femur, which is your thigh, and it's a long bone, at the top of it, it comes off like this, and then you have the head of the femur. That's your hip joint. And this little neck right here, sometimes that'll break. But apparently with people that have been taking Fosomax, they're finding that the actual femur itself is breaking, which is very, very difficult to do. So that kind of caught my attention. And then I was talking to a colleague of mine, another local chiropractor, and he was telling me that he had a patient who was walking. He said they were walking in the kitchen. I can't remember exactly where he said they were walking, but they were just walking along, and then boom, spontaneously, the femur broke. It just spontaneously broke. The patient then had to go in and have surgery to get rods put in, and as a result of the surgery, the patient had a stroke. Just all kinds of problems. I mean, this patient's life has just gone continually, become more and more challenging because of this. And my chiropractic colleague told me that this patient's medical doctor sat her down and told her point blank, he said, I'm sorry, but the Fosomax did this to you. So why is it that the biggest bone in the human body, the strongest bone in the human body, the most difficult bone to break in the human body, is starting to spontaneously fracture on these patients that are taking osteoporosis medications? I mean, osteoporosis is a disease of bone weakening. And these osteoporosis medications are supposed to make our bones stronger and healthier. I mean, they're even showing up on the scans that the bones are getting thicker and more dense. So why is this? Well, I think I know the answer. And I've been telling patients this for the last 6 years, and I've challenged everybody that I tell this to. I say, please talk to your medical doctor, talk to anybody, do your own research. If you can find anything that tells me that what I'm saying to you is wrong, then please tell me, because this is what I'm telling everybody, but I want to make sure that there's not any evidence out there that's contradictory. Because honestly, the mechanism behind what I believe and what I was taught, the mechanism behind Fosomax does not make any sense to me. So here's what I was taught, and here's what I honestly believe, and this is why I think that these spontaneous fractures are happening in the strongest bone in the body, and the thickest bone in the body, and the most difficult to fracture bone in the body. So basically, your bone is made up of two types of cells. There are several types of cells, but there are two critical ones. There's one called the osteoclast, and the way that you can remember this is the clast cleaves. In other words, the clast is the bone, or the cell that eats up old bone. And that's good. It eats up old bone. The osteoblast, the way you can remember this, is that the blast builds. So blasts build, clasts cleave. The osteoblast makes new bone. Well, what has happened is with these Fosomaxes, and I think this is the same mechanism with Boniva and all these other, once a month pills that they give you. What they do is they cause the osteoclast, the one that cleaves or that breaks down old bone, to stop breaking down the old bone. So then the osteoblast, the one that builds the bone, keeps on making bone. Granted, it says at a slower rate, that's why they have osteoporosis, but it's still building bone. So over time, since the clasts are not eating the old bone and the blasts are making new bone, you end up with thicker bone. So when you go and you get your bone scan done, after you've been doing this for several months or a year or whatever the time frame is, then your bone is built, it's showing an increase in density. Okay? Well, what's the problem with this? Well, the problem with this is the body is very, very super intelligent. That's why I'm always telling you the body can heal itself. The body is designed to do things that we don't understand. Okay? The body is brilliant. The reason that these osteoclasts, the ones that cleave, the ones that eat dead bone, the reason they exist is because this dead bone has become brittle and useless bone. And when that clast goes in and it eats that bone out, then the blast, when it puts in the new bone, it's replacing the old bone with a new bone. It's a cycle. It's a cycle of life. Old bone goes, new bone goes in, you have healthy bone. With osteoporosis, obviously something's gone awry and there's not enough there. And there are a lot of things you can do naturally to try to prevent osteoporosis. You can do weight-bearing exercise. You can take some good supplements. If you want to know some supplements, call me. We have a great little daily packet that you can take. It's pre-portioned for you. You just take it in the morning and the evening and you're good to go. There are all kinds of things you can do to prevent osteoporosis, and you need to do them because it's a devastating disease. Avoiding steroids, if you can avoid them at all, they will make you very, very prone to osteoporosis, which will lead to multiple fractures in your body. So anyway, back to the story. So your osteoblasts are building new bone. Your osteoblasts cleave the old bone and you get good, healthy bone. But what happens when you take these medications is those osteoclasts, they stop eating the old bone, so you have new bone going on top of old bone and your bone gets thicker. But the problem is the bone is not a good, high quality bone. The bone is new bone mixed in with brittle old bone. So what's the problem with that? Well, you get the appearance of a good quality bone, but you actually have a broken, brittle, non-sturdy bone. It's like taking a house that's is just being eaten up by termites, and this wood is getting all thinned out and everything. And you take that termite-laden wood and you don't pull it out. You just put plywood on the outside of it and say, "Hey, we're good to go." Well, that house is still going to fall down. It's still going to be crappy wood in there, even though you got new wood around it. It's still going to be crappy wood, and it's going to go. It's the same thing with your bones. You're surrounding the bone with good bone and bad bone, and the bone itself, the integrity of the bone is weaker, and then it's prone to fracture. Now, I almost never hear of a person breaking their femur because of osteoporosis. They do break their hip, the neck of that femur where I told you, they do break that. But it's very, very rare that you hear that somebody's actually shattered the shaft of that femur, the strongest part of that femur. It's very rare that osteoporosis would cause that to fracture. That's just an example of how weak these bones are getting and how they're unable to handle the stress of normal daily activity for somebody to be prone to have that bone fracture who's been taking a pill that's supposed to be making their bones stronger. So I hope this makes sense. And again, I ask everybody out there, talk to your doctors, ask them if what I'm saying makes sense. If I'm wrong, please let me know, because this is what I believe to be the problem. And osteoporosis is a huge problem in our society, and a lot of people are taking these things that have toxic effects on the rest of your body, not even to mention the quality of your bone. So anyway, so please ask around. If I'm wrong, let me know. Put it on the blog, and I'll be glad to research what you find. And if we find something different, I'll come out here and I'll correct it. Okay. This is another prime example of why I'm doing these blogs. I want you to understand the importance of prevention. As I say at the end of every one of these, take control of your health before your health takes control of you. Start preventing your osteoporosis now. Weight-bearing exercise, resistance exercise to strengthen those bones. Get on a good whole food osteoporotic support system. We've got supplements that we can use. There are other great supplements that are out there that we don't carry. But get on a good osteoporosis supplement protocol. And again, with supplements, you get what you pay for. So make sure you get something good. Don't go to Walmart and buy their ground up seashells, because your body won't be able to use it. But anyway, so prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. Keep yourself healthy while you're healthy, and then hopefully you won't have to go down this path and deal with all these things that just help your health deteriorate quicker and quicker. Again, I'm not anti-meds. Sometimes they're necessary, but things like these that are lifestyle related, if we can do everything we can to avoid it, we're all going to be better off. All right, so as always, my hope for you is that you take control of your health before your health takes control of you. And again, everybody at massage membership clubs, all of our massage therapists, Kelly and I, everybody that's involved in the practice, we've all got your back. So if you have any questions, please let us know. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.